Friends, in today's video, we will study what is requirement engineering in software engineering. This is one branch of software engineering in which we gather the software requirement from client, analyze and document them. It is known as requirement engineering. The software developer means the team who develops the software takes the requirement from the client and analyze and document that requirement in the form of system requirement specification document that we call SRS document in short. So main purpose of requirement engineering is to develop and maintain sophisticated and descriptive system requirement specification document. To prepare this SRS document, requirement engineering is processed. Now, if we study about what are the steps in requirement engineering process, there are basically 4 steps. One is feasibility study. Next one is requirement gathering, software requirement specification preparation, then software requirement validation. So the 4 steps are, first of all, feasibility study, then requirement gathering, software requirement specification, and software requirement validation. So one by one we will go through all these 4 steps. First of all, in feasibility study, the analyst look for means they perform the detailed study to find out whether the required system and its functionality are feasible to develop in terms of implementation. First step is study the feasibility in terms of implementation, whether the requirement is may be implemented or not. Now, after we perform the implementation feasibility, then there are cost constraints. So whether it is viable, financially viable to make this project or not, and the project, what will be the final contribution of this project to the organization. So if organization is expanding more but taking output very less as compared to the investment made by the organization, then the project is not financially viable for the organization and the organization should not go for this. Now, second step, once feasibility study is confirmed and it is confirmed that the project is viable and is feasible in terms of implementation cost and the profitability of the project, then the second stage start, that is requirement gathering. The requirement, what are the requirement for this software are gathered from the client and the various end users through different systems like questionnaire, preparing questionnaire, having group discussion with the clients, and understanding their problem, why they require this software. So the requirement gathering is the second step of requirement engineering, in which what are the requirements of the client are gathered, and based on these requirement gathered, software requirement specification is being prepared by the software team. Software teams collect the data from various stakeholders, and after getting that data, they prepare the SRS document. And SRS document is the most important document for preparing some project or software for the development of. After preparing this software requirement specification document, the software developer team goes for development, means start the actual execution of the project. Now, SRS should come with the following features. User requirement are expressed in natural language Technical requirements are expressed in structured language which is used inside the organization. Design description should be written in pseudocode. Means main design description is being written in the pseudo form. Means pseudo form, you know, that we write the algorithm we write in pseudocode. That first for example, if we are recursion, we are having recursion pseudocode, then we will write like that: call the function recursion, and then the body of recursion for I is equal to 0 to I is equal to n minus 1, call the function recursion. We will not be writing the actual code in any language. We just will be writing in pseudocode that 0 key value, n key value, for the value of n from 0 to I minus 1, call the function recursion, like that. Format of forms and GUI screen print. The basic forms and formats are prepared in the SRS document. Conditional mathematical notations for DFD. Data flow diagrams are being prepared in SRS document itself. Now the last but not the least step of requirement engineering is the software requirement validation. After this SRS document has been prepared, requirement specifications are developed. The requirement mentioned in this document are validated whether these requirements are correct or not. User might ask for illegal, impractical solution, or expert may interpret the requirement incorrectly. So client at this stage, the client and the developer, they discuss with each other whether what the developer has interpreted is correct in the viewpoint of client, and what the client is interpreting that developer is going to provide him this software is understandable, uh, correctly understood by the developer. And at this time, their checks are performed whether the requirement being asked by the client are legal, or the requirements are being tested against the following conditions. If they can be practically implemented, if the requirement is practically possible, if they are valid and as per functionality and domain of the software, if there are any ambiguities between the execution of the different modules, if they are complete, if they can be demonstrated.